The first glimpse of humanity's might, 5 to 7 minute hook. Across the vastness of space, the galaxy was in turmoil. The once proud and powerful alien civilizations, who had long believed themselves to be the strongest, were now facing a new and terrifying threat. It was not a monstrous species with unmatched power or a deadly weapon beyond imagination. It was the humans, small, primitive creatures who had only recently crawled out of their own atmosphere and sent their first ships into space. The galaxy's most dangerous predators, the Zithar, a massive, brutal race, had long ruled over countless systems. They were strong, ruthless, and skilled in war. They had wiped out entire species that dared to challenge them, leaving their mark across the stars. But now they were beginning to realize that their time as the dominant force in the galaxy was coming to an end. It started with whispers, rumors that traveled quickly through the galactic network. Humans had done something unimaginable. They had conquered a death world, a place so hostile that even the most dangerous species would hesitate to set foot on it. This news spread like wildfire. The galaxy was stunned. How could such a small, seemingly weak species survive such a deadly world? The Zithar, like most, dismissed the rumors. Impossible, they said. These creatures are weak and fragile. They would not survive for long in our galaxy. But that was before the first real signs of humanity's power appeared. It wasn't long before the first human ships arrived. They came through the stars, sleek and deadly, with technology that seemed almost too advanced to believe. The alien races scoffed at first, but when the humans arrived on their doorstep, they quickly realized they had made a grave mistake. One by one, the mighty alien fleets began to fall. The humans didn't just fight. They obliterated everything in their path. The Zithar watched in stunned silence as human ships tore through their defenses with terrifying efficiency. They had underestimated the humans, and now it was too late. In a dark, quiet corner of the galaxy, the Zithar began to realize something that shook them to their core. They were not the galaxy's top predators anymore. Their fleets, once invincible, were being crushed by this small, unassuming species, and soon, other alien races began to panic, sending out desperate distress signals for help. The message was clear: help us. The humans are coming. But it was already too late. The humans had made their move, and nothing in the galaxy could stop them now. The aliens' shock. As the first wave of human ships destroyed enemy fleets across the galaxy, the alien races were left reeling. The sheer power of the human military was unlike anything they had ever seen. With every battle, the humans grew more formidable, and their reputation spread like wildfire. The Zithar, once the fiercest race in the galaxy, found themselves retreating in fear, unable to stop the human assault. But the worst part, the humans showed no signs of stopping. The aliens realized that the humans weren't just a passing threat. They were here to stay. The Zithar, and all the other species, could no longer believe they were the most powerful. The humans had shattered that illusion in an instant. The fleet's arrival. The humans didn't just arrive in small numbers. They came with fleets that seemed unstoppable. For the first time in history, the galaxy's most dangerous and advanced species stood in awe of humanity's might. What was once believed impossible was now a terrifying reality. The humans showed no mercy as they tore through enemy lines. Their ships were fast, powerful, and precise, wiping out alien forces in coordinated attacks that left nothing behind. For the Zithar, it was a devastating blow. They had once considered themselves the apex predators of the galaxy, but now they were nothing more than prey. The humans were a new force that the galaxy had never seen before. The growing fear. The galaxy's most powerful civilizations, who had once been able to conquer anything in their way, were now faced with an enemy they couldn't defeat. The humans weren't just survivors, they were conquerors. The message sent out by the Zithar, a call for help, was only the beginning of what would become the darkest chapter in galactic history. As the human fleet advanced, The fear among the alien races grew. What could they do against this unstoppable force? No alliance, no weapon, no strategy seemed to be enough. And the worst part, the humans were only getting stronger. They had only just begun to show their true power. The cliffhanger. In the final moments of the first battle, the Zithar watched in silence as the last of their fleet was destroyed. The humans had proven their might, and now, the galaxy would never be the same. As the remains of the alien fleets drifted into space, the question that hung in the air was clear. What would the humans do next? Would they stop here, or would they continue their conquest across the stars? The galaxy was at their mercy, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop them. This introduction sets the stage for the story by creating tension, giving the audience a glimpse of the terrifying power humanity possesses, and leaving them eager to know what happens next. The use of simple language ensures that the story is accessible, while the suspense keeps the viewers hooked. The galaxy trembled in fear after the first few encounters with humanity. The once untouchable alien fleets, which had dominated the stars for eons, were nothing but burning wrecks in the wake of human power. The Zithar, who had ruled over countless systems, were now scrambling to regroup. But they were not alone in their panic. The news spread like wildfire across the galaxy. The message was clear. Humanity was coming. No one was safe. In the vast space corridors, the alien factions began to gather. What could they do against this unstoppable new force? Some of the galaxy's most advanced races, with their superior technology, tried to analyze the humans' tactics, searching for weaknesses. They had to find something, anything, that could halt their progress. But after each battle, the truth became clearer. There was no weakness to exploit. In the darkest corners of space, secret meetings were held. The galaxy's mightiest races, the ones who had thought themselves invincible, now faced a terrifying reality. The entire balance of power was shifting. A new predator had arrived, and they were more dangerous than anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Xeros, a race known for their mastery of energy manipulation, immediately began drafting plans to unite the galaxy's remaining forces. The Jannar, an ancient and reclusive species of warriors, were willing to listen, but only if they were assured that their interests would be preserved. And even the Artians, the galaxy's greatest strategists, acknowledged that there was no chance for a counterattack unless they united under one banner. But even in their desperation, they were divided. Old grudges, ancient rivalries, and distrust kept them from fully committing to any unified effort. The galaxy had been divided for so long that no one race wanted to fully trust the others. This delay would prove to be their greatest mistake. Meanwhile, the humans were not resting. They didn't need alliances, nor did they hesitate in taking action. Humanity's Deathworlder fleet, though far smaller in number, was far more advanced in strategy and sheer strength than anyone could have imagined. They fought with a ruthless efficiency that left no room for mercy, and as each new fleet of alien forces gathered in the void, the humans took swift action, dismantling their defenses with terrifying precision. The first unseen blow. The alien fleets thought they could prepare for the coming storm. They gathered in large numbers, all heading to the center of the galaxy, where the humans were rumored to be. But there was a problem. They underestimated humanity's tactics. The humans, it seemed, didn't just rely on their power. They used their minds. Humanity's commanders weren't just warriors. They were tacticians, planners who used the element of surprise in ways the galaxy had never seen before. They didn't need to fight by numbers or brute force. They were masters of asymmetric warfare. And then it happened. The humans struck before the alien fleets were even ready. In a move that no one had anticipated, the human fleet launched a series of devastating attacks on isolated sectors, taking out the alien strongholds one by one. The Zithar, for all their strength, were the first to fall. Their fleets were caught in a trap, engaged from all sides in a flurry of human ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. In the chaos, The alien forces couldn't even communicate properly. The humans had already made their move. The message was clear. The humans were not here for negotiations. They were here to dominate. The terrifying efficiency of humanity's fleet. It wasn't just that the humans were powerful. It was how quickly and efficiently they executed their tactics. Every battle was short, brutal, and decisive. When the Zithar tried to regroup, humanity attacked again. When the Artians attempted a counteroffensive, humanity tore their fleet apart with astonishing speed. No race in the galaxy had ever seen anything like this. In the space of just a few skirmishes, the humans had completely reshaped the galaxy's power dynamics. No race, no matter how advanced, seemed capable of stopping them. The aliens were not just being beaten, they were being overwhelmed. The sheer scale of humanity's power was unlike anything they could comprehend. The Zithar were forced to retreat further into their strongholds, unable to regain their former glory. The Xeros, who had once been able to manipulate energy fields to devastating effect, now found their technology countered by the humans in ways they couldn't fathom. The galaxy's most feared fleets, once confident in their superiority, were now fleeing for their lives. A flicker of hope. Some of the galaxy's races began to hold secret meetings once again. If they could unite their forces, perhaps they could mount a defense against this terrifying force. But the question was, could they do it in time? Humanity's reach was already extending deeper into the galaxy, and their ships moved with terrifying speed. At this point, it wasn't just about survival. It was about finding any way to stop the unstoppable force. But with each new victory, humanity's reputation grew. The aliens' desperation mounted. But humanity wasn't finished yet. The cliffhanger. Just as the aliens began to regroup, humanity made a move that no one had expected. They didn't attack with brute force this time. They used something much more insidious, human ingenuity. What would the humans do next? Could the alien races manage to recover in time, or would the galaxy fall under humanity's control? The clock was ticking, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The galaxy's last hope, a desperate alliance. The galaxy was on the edge of collapse. As humanity's fleet continued to devastate alien strongholds, the once proud galactic empires found themselves on the run. Their fleets shattered, their leaders in disarray. The races that once commanded the stars were now powerless. The death toll was rising at an alarming rate. Desperation set in. It became clear that humanity wasn't just another race. It was a force of nature, an unstoppable wave that was sweeping across the galaxy. The galaxy's most powerful races, Zithar, Xeros, Jannar, Artians, once enemies to each other, were now faced with the horrifying reality that their only hope for survival lay in working together. They were no longer battling for dominance. They were fighting for their very existence. In secret, the galaxy's surviving leaders met. A plan was devised, one that could bring together the most powerful forces of the galaxy. But would it be enough? Could they stand against the raw power of humanity? The Zithar struggled to retain control. The Zithar were among the first to encounter humanity's terrifying might. As a race, they had ruled entire sectors, their ships practically invincible to most other forces. But against humanity, their technology was rendered obsolete. They were forced to retreat again and again, their once formidable fleet now shattered and scattered. The Zithar leaders, once arrogant and powerful, were now humbled. They no longer believed they could defeat the humans with brute force alone. Their new strategy was born of desperation. They would attempt to ally with the Xeros, the Jannar, and the Artians. Perhaps together, they could overcome the invincible humans. But the Zithar had an issue: trust. They had many enemies among the other races, and old grudges ran deep. For centuries, the Zithar had dominated and bullied many of the other galactic species. Now, when they needed allies the most, their past sins came back to haunt them. Could the galaxy's most powerful empires unite for the sake of survival, or would their animosities tear them apart? The Xeros, masters of energy, but vulnerable to the unknown. The Xeros were a race of masters when it came to manipulating energy fields. They could turn the tides of battles with a single wave of their hands, manipulating the fabric of reality itself to suit their needs. They had long been considered one of the most advanced species in the galaxy. However, their arrogance proved to be their downfall. Humanity's technology and tactics were a complete unknown, and the Xeros couldn't predict what came next. Their first encounter with humanity left them in shock. Their advanced energy shields, once considered impenetrable, were ripped apart by human technology that they couldn't even comprehend. The Xeros had never faced a race so unpredictable, so ruthless in battle. And so they too were forced to join the fray, hoping that unity with the other alien races would be their ticket to survival. But the Xeros were wary. They had always fought alone, and now they had to put their trust in others. The question remained, would their alliance be enough to challenge humanity's unyielding power? The Artians. Strategy alone won't win this fight. The Artians were known throughout the galaxy as the greatest tacticians. Their strategy was legendary. They could win a war without ever having to fight a single battle. However, when the human fleet emerged, it didn't follow the rules of engagement they had relied on for centuries. Humans fought with a savage intelligence, adapting and overcoming every strategy that the Artians could devise. The Artians, who once prided themselves on their ability to predict every move of their enemies, now found themselves cornered. Every strategy they set up was torn apart by the humans' sheer unpredictability. There was no pattern to humanity's tactics, no obvious weakness to exploit. Their once formidable fleets crumbled under the pressure of humanity's relentless assault, and as they watched their empire disintegrate, the Artians realized that no matter how many battles they fought, they could not win without the help of the other races. Their only hope now lay in uniting with the Xeros, the Jannar, and the Zithar. But even in this alliance, the Artians had doubts. Would they be able to outthink the humans, or would their newfound enemies remain one step ahead? The Jannar, fearsome warriors, but not invincible. The Jannar were a race of ancient warriors, renowned for their strength and their unmatched fighting abilities. Their warriors were some of the most fearsome the galaxy had ever known. However, even the Jannar had to admit that they were no match for humanity's Deathworlders. The humans fought with a ferocity that was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Their strength, though undeniable, wasn't enough. Humanity's warriors were faster, more unpredictable, and far more ruthless. The Jannar found themselves forced into retreat time and time again, their warriors falling in battle against an enemy that refused to be stopped. Their pride was shattered. For the first time in their history, the Jannar were forced to face the fact that they were no longer the galaxy's most fearsome warriors. Their once great empire was crumbling, and only one hope remained: an alliance with the other alien races. But even with all their strength, the Jannar were unsure. Could they overcome humanity, or had they already lost the war? The final gambit: a desperate alliance forms. With the threat of humanity looming ever larger, the galaxy's once invincible empires finally agreed to join forces. A treaty was signed, a fragile, desperate alliance forged in the face of certain destruction. The Zithar, the Xeros, the Artians, and the Jannar all vowed to work together to take down the greatest threat they had ever faced. The humans, however, were not unaware of this alliance. They were already planning their next move, prepared to shatter the fragile unity the galaxy's races had just formed. The question remained: could the combined might of these ancient races challenge humanity's might, or would they fall to the humans as every other empire had? Cliffhanger ending. As the alien fleet began to assemble, a dark shadow loomed over the galaxy. The humans were watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The ultimate battle for the galaxy was about to begin. But would the alien alliance stand strong against humanity's ruthless strategies, or would they fall one by one in a conflict that they could not win? The Deathworlders' final stand. The first clash. The alliance of alien races, born from desperation and fear, stood united, though their unity was still fragile. In the darkness of space, their combined fleet began to form. Massive warships and battle cruisers from the Zthar, Xeros, Artians, and Jannar slowly aligned, their engines glowing like stars in the endless black. They were preparing for the ultimate battle. The question on everyone's mind: could this coalition of ancient powers stand against humanity's relentless and unstoppable force? Humanity had proven time and again that it was a force to be reckoned with. It wasn't just their advanced technology or their raw strength that made them dangerous. It was their sheer will to fight. The Deathworlders, as they had been called, had a ruthlessness that no other race could match. It was this ferocity that had broken every alien defense and conquered world after world. Now, as the Alliance gathered, the humans were watching, patiently waiting for their enemies to make the first move. The first shockwave. A test of strength. The first encounter was nothing like any of the alien races had expected. The Alliance, believing they had formed a fleet strong enough to fight humanity, rushed forward with confidence. The Zthar led the charge, their ships firing off powerful energy blasts that shook the stars themselves. The Xeros, masters of energy manipulation, sent waves of destructive energy toward the human ships. But the humans weren't intimidated. Instead of retreating or falling back, humanity's fleet surged forward, a storm of fire and destruction. The humans had already anticipated this attack. Their ships, designed for chaos and overwhelming power, split into several flanking positions. Every move the aliens made was met with an equal, if not stronger, counterattack. The human fleet wasn't just fighting back. They were forcing the aliens into a position of vulnerability. The Jannar, known for their fearsome warriors and formidable combat skills, were the next to charge. But what they faced wasn't just another enemy fleet. It was the human spirit, unbroken, unfathomable. The Jannar's warriors attempted to board the human ships, believing their strength would dominate, but what they found was far more than they had bargained for. The humans were everywhere, and their soldiers were waiting for them. Faster, stronger, and more efficient than anything the Jannar had ever faced before. Aboard the human ships, the Deathworlder warriors had trained for this moment their entire lives. The battle wasn't just fought with weapons. It was fought with a level of tactical intelligence and brutal efficiency aliens had never encountered. Humanity's soldiers weren't just warriors. They were a reflection of their world. A world that demanded survival at any cost. No one could match their grit, their creativity in battle, or their complete disregard for anything but victory. The unforeseen turn, a dangerous counterattack. As the battle raged, the Xeros decided to unleash their most dangerous weapon, their energy manipulation devices. These weapons were capable of altering the flow of energy, disrupting entire fleets, and turning the tide of battles in an instant. The Xeros, with their near-perfect control over these devices, thought this would be their advantage. But once again, humanity was prepared. The human fleet deployed a new technology, one that had never been seen before. Their ships began to flicker and blur, shifting in space in ways that made the Xeros' energy weapons useless. No energy signature could lock onto the humans, and their ships' unpredictable movement patterns made it impossible for the Xeros to manipulate the energy in a way that would stop them. A brilliant Xeros strategist realized the true terror of humanity. They could adapt. The humans didn't just fight with technology or brute force. They fought with creativity, always staying 2 steps ahead. The Xeros had been masters of energy for centuries, but against the humans, they were novices, playing a game that they didn't understand. Star's realization, the power of unity. The Zthar, once the leaders of the galaxy's military might, were the first to realize that their once proud empire was not going to win this war. They had sent their most advanced warships against humanity, only to have their fleets decimated by the humans' overwhelming force. The Zthar leaders had made a fatal mistake. They had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, to fight with sheer force of will. The Deathworlders' final stand, The first clash. The alliance of alien races, born from desperation and fear, stood united, though their unity was still fragile. In the darkness of space, their combined fleet began to form. Massive warships and battle cruisers from the Star, Xeros, Archons, and Jannar slowly aligned, their engines glowing like stars in the endless black. They were preparing for the ultimate battle. The question on everyone's mind: could this coalition of ancient powers stand against humanity's relentless and unstoppable force? Humanity had proven time and again that it was a force to be reckoned with. It wasn't just their advanced technology or their raw strength that made them dangerous. It was their sheer will to fight. The Dithworlders, as they had been called, had a ruthlessness that no other race could match. It was this ferocity that had broken every alien defense and conquered world after world. Now, as the Alliance gathered, the humans were watching, patiently waiting for their enemies to make the first move. The first shockwave, a test of strength. The first encounter was nothing like any of the alien races had expected. The Alliance, believing they had formed a fleet strong enough to fight humanity, rushed forward with confidence. The Zethar led the charge, their ships firing off powerful energy blasts that shook the stars themselves. The Xeros, masters of energy manipulation, sent waves of destructive energy toward the human ships. But the humans weren't intimidated. Instead of retreating or falling back, humanity's fleet surged forward, a storm of fire and destruction. The humans had already anticipated this attack. Their ships, designed for chaos and overwhelming power, split into several flanking positions. Every move the aliens made was met with an equal, if not stronger, counterattack. The human fleet wasn't just fighting back. They were forcing the aliens into a position of vulnerability. The Jannar, known for their fearsome warriors and formidable combat skills, were the next to charge. But what they faced wasn't just another enemy fleet. It was the human spirit, unbroken, unfathomable. The Jannar's warriors attempted to board the human ships, believing their strength would dominate, but what they found was far more than they had bargained for. The humans were everywhere, and their soldiers were waiting for them. Faster, stronger, and more efficient than anything the Jannar had ever faced before. Aboard the human ships, the Dithworlder warriors had trained for this moment their entire lives. The battle wasn't just fought with weapons, it was fought with a level of tactical intelligence and brutal efficiency the aliens had never encountered. Humanity's soldiers weren't just warriors, they were a reflection of their world, a world that demanded survival at any cost. No one could match their grit, their creativity in battle, or their complete disregard for anything but victory. The unforeseen turn, a dangerous counterattack. As the battle raged, the Xeros decided to unleash their most dangerous weapon, their energy manipulation devices. These weapons were capable of altering the flow of energy, disrupting entire fleets, and turning the tide of battles in an instant. The Xeros, with their near-perfect control over these devices, thought this would be their advantage. But once again, humanity was prepared. The human fleet deployed a new technology, one that had never been seen before. Their ships began to flicker and blur, shifting in space in ways that made the Xeros' energy weapons useless. No energy signature could lock onto the humans, and their ships' unpredictable movement patterns made it impossible for the Xeros to manipulate the energy in a way that would stop them. A brilliant Xeros strategist realized the true terror of humanity. They could adapt. The humans didn't just fight with technology or brute force. They fought with creativity, always staying 2 steps ahead. The Xeros had been masters of energy for centuries, but against the humans, they were novices, playing a game that they didn't understand. Star's realization, the power of unity. The Zethar, once the leaders of the galaxy's military might, were the first to realize that their once proud empire was not going to win this war. They had sent their most advanced warships against humanity, only to have their fleets decimated by the humans' overwhelming force. The Zethar leaders had made a fatal mistake. They had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, to fight with sheer force of will. But it wasn't just the Zithar who were reeling from the shock. The Artians, known for their meticulous planning and strategy, were left in disarray. Every move they made was countered by the humans in ways that left them helpless. The alien races, once so confident in their superiority, were now seeing the full scope of humanity's power. This wasn't just a war of technology. It was a war of survival, and humanity wasn't about to lose. The galaxy's last chance. Is unity enough? As the battle continued to escalate, the surviving alien fleets regrouped. Despite their losses, the Alliance wasn't willing to give up. The Xeros, Zithar, Artians, and Jannar were now fully committed to the cause. Either they would defeat the humans, or the galaxy as they knew it would fall into chaos. The human fleet, however, had no intention of stopping. Humanity's warriors fought with a focus and ferocity that seemed almost supernatural. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and no one was certain who would emerge victorious. Would the combined might of the galaxy's greatest empires be enough to overcome humanity's unstoppable power, or was this just the beginning of humanity's reign as the galaxy's new conquerors? Cliffhanger ending. As the battle reached its peak, a sudden new threat appeared in the distance. Was this the final counterattack from the alien alliance, or was something even darker emerging from the depths of space? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same again. The future was now in humanity's hands. The unseen foe. A new threat emerges. After humanity's powerful push, the galaxy's battlefields lay in ruins. Alien ships drifted in the vast emptiness of space, some crippled beyond repair, others burning from the intense energy unleashed by humanity's fleets. Victory was near, and humanity's position seemed unassailable. But amid this triumphant moment, a new danger lurked, unseen by all. As the last remnants of the alien forces struggled to regroup, their commanders made a chilling discovery. The ripple effect caused by the human gravity weapons had reached far beyond the battlefield. The shockwaves had pierced through uncharted space and triggered something ancient. A whisper across the stars. A mysterious signal began to pulse through the void, weak at first, but growing stronger with each passing minute. At first, it seemed like static, a strange anomaly. But then it took shape, its patterns unmistakable. The signal was not random. It was an intelligence, a presence that had been silent for eons, waiting in the cold corners of space. This was no alien race, no ancient empire from a forgotten time. It was something far older. The signal's origin was traced to a distant system on the edge of the galaxy, but what had been dormant for millennia was now awakening. The aliens, already battered and struggling, had no idea what they were about to face. Neither did humanity. The silent titans. The first signs of the new threat were subtle. An eerie calmness spread through the galaxy. Fleet commanders noticed their communication systems glitching. Ships dropped out of hyperspace unexpectedly, and navigation systems went haywire. At first, humanity thought it was a residual effect of their earlier weaponry, but they soon realized this was something far more deliberate. The unknown force had awakened, and its power was unimaginable. From the far reaches of the galaxy, colossal, dormant ships began to stir. They were not like anything humanity or the aliens had ever seen. Massive, ancient constructs covered in intricate patterns and unidentifiable technology. They moved slowly, but with purpose, pulling in the surrounding space with magnetic forces that interfered with all navigation. The silent titans, massive ships built from materials unknown to any civilization in the galaxy, slowly began to emerge from the shadows of deep space. These ships were older than any recorded civilization, ancient beyond comprehension. A battle of unequal forces. Humanity had seen power. They had seen devastation. But this new force, this ancient enemy, was different. Humanity's fleet, while powerful, was built on the principles of brute force and technological innovation. But these ancient ships, these titans, didn't rely on speed or firepower. They manipulated space itself. Gravity, light, time, all were in their control. The first sign of confrontation came when one of the massive ships appeared on the edge of a human-controlled sector. A fleet of human warships immediately moved in to investigate, unaware that they were walking into a trap. The moment the human fleet entered the region, their ships began to lose control. Sensors failed, engines stalled, and communication with the fleet broke down entirely. The human ships became disoriented, drifting aimlessly through space, completely at the mercy of the Titans. And it wasn't just technology that failed. Human crew members, even those who had been at the forefront of battle, began to feel an overwhelming sensation of fear, a primal fear unlike anything they had experienced before. The first encounter, a silent message. The Titans didn't fire or attack in any traditional sense. Instead, they unleashed a silent wave of energy, something that seemed to reach into the minds of those aboard the human ships. A message, not through words, but through sheer presence. A message of power, of control, of a species that had existed long before humanity had even evolved on their homeworld. These Titans weren't here to fight. They were here to take back what was theirs. And in that moment, humanity felt the weight of a true, unshakable enemy. This was a force that didn't need to conquer. They had already done so millennia ago. A frightening realization. As the human fleet scrambled to regain control, the alien forces, who had been devastated by humanity's earlier onslaught, saw the opportunity to strike back. However, they too recognized the Titans as a threat they could not withstand. Their own forces began to pull back, choosing to retreat rather than engage. The Titans were far beyond anything they had encountered. The galaxy's greatest minds, both human and alien, came to the same conclusion. These Titans were an entirely new breed of enemy, one that did not fear death, one that could manipulate the very fabric of the universe itself. And now they were awake. Their return had been triggered by humanity's recklessness, their use of the gravity weapons that had disturbed the deep, ancient layers of space. Desperate measures. A counterattack. With the emergence of the Titans, humanity's previous victory felt hollow. They were not facing an alien race or an empire. They were facing a force older than the galaxy itself. However, humanity was not one to bow to any threat. They had overcome impossible odds before, and they would do so again. In the aftermath of the Titans' appearance, humanity's fleet began to regroup. They couldn't defeat the Titans with sheer firepower or gravity manipulation alone. They needed a new strategy, a new way to approach the battle. The humans turned to their greatest asset, their resourcefulness. They would need to create a weapon, a force capable of standing against the Titans' terrifying power. But this new weapon would not come from advanced technology. It would come from an ancient knowledge buried deep in human history. The unknown weapon, a glimmer of hope. Hidden in the archives of Earth's lost civilizations was a forgotten secret, an ancient power that humans had long since abandoned. It was said to be the key to manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe. Humanity would dig deep into the past, unearthing knowledge that had been lost to time, and they would need every ounce of their strength, courage, and ingenuity to stand against the Titans. The fate of the galaxy rested on their ability to harness this ancient power before it was too late. Cliffhanger ending. As humanity began to search for this forgotten power, the Titans waited, ever patient, ever silent. The galaxy held its breath. Would humanity succeed in finding the weapon they needed, or would the Titans reclaim what was once theirs, unleashing untold chaos and destruction upon the stars? Stay tuned for Part 7, where the search for the ultimate weapon begins. The ancient weapon, humanity's last hope. The galaxy was now a chessboard, and every move carried unimaginable weight. Humanity's victory had turned to ashes in their mouths as the Titans, ancient, unknowable forces, loomed over them, their silent power threatening to erase everything humanity had fought for. But the humans were not a species to surrender easily. The search for an ancient weapon that could counter the Titans might have begun, and with it, the fate of the galaxy was now in the hands of a few brave souls willing to risk everything. The search for the lost weapon. The ancient texts, buried deep in the forgotten vaults of Earth, spoke of a weapon unlike any other, a force so powerful that it could challenge the Titans themselves. This weapon, however, had been lost to the sands of time. The last traces of it had vanished long before humanity had even begun its journey to the stars. Now, humanity's brightest minds, a group of soldiers, engineers, and historians, were gathering to uncover the secrets of this forgotten power. Leading the search was Commander Sarah Dune, a seasoned officer with the tenacity to match any enemy. She was one of the few humans who had experienced the full force of the Titans' awakening. Her fleet had been among the first to feel their power, and she was determined not to let humanity fall into extinction. The journey to find the weapon would not be easy. The texts had been vague, filled with metaphors and cryptic phrases. The weapon was said to lie in a place where time itself bends, and it could only be unlocked by those who truly understood the cost of wielding it. No one knew where this place was, or what dangers awaited. A shocking revelation. The team's first clue led them to an ancient outpost on a desolate world at the edge of the galaxy, a place once thought to be inhabited by a lost human civilization. It was here, buried beneath layers of dust and rubble, that they found their first piece of the puzzle, an artifact shaped like a crystalline pyramid, pulsing with a strange energy. Commander Doom carefully examined the artifact, feeling the cold hum of power radiating from it. The energy felt familiar, like something she had felt before, but more refined, more ancient. She immediately understood that this was a key. But the real shock came when they attempted to activate the artifact. A surge of energy blasted out, nearly incinerating the team. The artifact had been designed to protect its secrets from intruders. Only those with the correct knowledge could unlock its full potential. As Sarah lay on the ground, stunned by the blast, one of her engineers, a brilliant but unassuming scientist named Quinn, approached the pyramid with trembling hands. Quinn's fingers touched the surface, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then a low rumble echoed through the chamber. The pyramid shifted, revealing hidden symbols, and in that instant, Quinn had unlocked the first step in the ancient weapon's secret. The weapon's true power. The pyramid was not just a key. It was a map leading to the true weapon. As the symbols revealed themselves, they showed an ancient facility hidden in a dead star system, an area too dangerous for anyone to approach, a place where no ship had ever returned. Humanity's enemies, both alien and the Titans themselves, had long avoided it, sensing something more terrifying than even the Titans. It was said that this weapon could manipulate the very fabric of the universe, much like the Titans, but with one crucial difference. While the Titans manipulated power for control, this weapon was designed to protect, to preserve. It was a force of life itself, something that could challenge the Titans not by overpowering them, but by bending the universe to humanity's will. The journey to the dead star. With no time to waste, Commander Dune and her team set course for the dead star system. The journey was perilous, and along the way, they encountered several obstacles, some of which seemed to be set by the Titans themselves. It was clear that their ancient enemies were aware of the search for the weapon and were doing everything they could to stop them. Along the way, they faced fierce cosmic storms, rogue asteroids, and uncharted black holes that threatened to swallow their ships. But they pressed on, knowing that the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. As they neared the system, the final obstacle presented itself, a wall of energy that stretched across the stars, a barrier unlike anything the humans had ever seen. The Titans had built this wall, knowing it would prevent any ships from reaching the weapon. But the humans had no choice. They had to break through. The final battle. In the final stretch of their journey, as they neared the heart of the dead star system, the Titans made their move. Hundreds of their massive ships appeared from the shadows, blocking the humans' path. They were not here to negotiate or to scare. They were here to eliminate humanity once and for all. Commander Dune's fleet, though outnumbered and outgunned, made a desperate charge toward the barrier. The Titan's ships unleashed devastating waves of energy, each strike capable of destroying an entire fleet. But the humans fought back with everything they had. They used their knowledge of the Titan's technology, turning their own weapons against them. As the battle raged on, the humans reached the edge of the barrier. Quinn, who had become the key to activating the weapon, was ready. He initiated the final sequence, unlocking the door to the heart of the dead star system. The barrier fell. The weapon revealed a glimmer of hope. Inside the heart of the system, they found the weapon, an enormous crystalline structure, pulsating with raw energy. The weapon was alive, growing, and its power was beyond comprehension. The Titans had no way to stop it. Humanity's final test had arrived. With the weapon now in their hands, they could either choose to wield its power or destroy it. Knowing the consequences could reshape the entire galaxy. But humanity had come this far. They weren't about to back down now.